All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone and citations to the elect. This is the brother Lawyer from Great Millstone, Miami. And the topic I want to go into in this lesson is how scoffers and scoffing in general is going out of business. Okay. All right. The time is at hand. Okay. All right. And we've noticed over the years, man, scoffers have gotten a lot quieter. Okay. All right. There's a lot less back and forth. Of course, it still happens here and there, but it's not as potent. It's not as fervent as it used to be, man, because guess what? All right. SHTF. Okay. Shit is hitting the fan. All right. So all let's talk about, ain't no Jacob's trouble, people scoffing the MOTB, people were scoffing, times of trouble coming. And hey, guess what, man? All these things are beginning to unfold in our face, prophetically. Okay. I keep saying faith in our face prophetically, man. And everyone is being affected by the words of the Lord, man, because at the end of the day, prophecy stands. All right. So a Tawada Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai for silencing, beginning to silence even more the ignorance of foolish and rebellious men and women. OK. All right. And so I just want to push this video out, man, just as an encouragement to keep preaching, the word, man, because the Lord is vindicating us for speaking his word by bringing it to pass, man. Okay. Call All right. So I'm going to start here with Ezekiel chapter 12, verse 17. It says, "Moreover, the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Son of man, eat thy bread with quaking and drink thy water with trembling and with carefulness. And say unto the people of the land, Thus saith the Lord God of the inhabitants of Jerusalem and of the land of Israel, they shall eat their bread with carefulness and drink their water with astonishment, that her land may be desolate from all that is therein, because of the violence of all them that dwell therein. And the cities that are inhabited shall be laid waste, and the land shall be desolate, and ye shall know that I am the Lord." So the Lord had Ezekiel prophesying about famine. Okay, and food scarcity, which we see that is unfolded, man. A lot of people can't afford, daily living expenses. They can't afford food. They can't afford groceries. Okay, they can't afford to make ends meet. Food scarcity and insecurity, which are just fancy words for famine. Okay, all right, it's increasing worldwide. Okay. All right. And that's according to biblical prophecy, man. All right. The Lord said famines would come, earthquakes in diverse places, wars and rumors of war. OK. All right. Pestilences. All right. Which the pestilence, the most recent famous pestilence, the C-19. OK. Exasperated. I'm trying to pronounce the word, That's a hard word to pronounce, but made the food scarcity worldwide even worse than what it already was. All right, because this was already a global crisis. Food scarcity and insecurity. In other words, famine was already a problem before the C-19 came. All right, and then the effects of the C-19 and the effects that it had on the global trade and import and export. That kept this global food supply, as flourishing as it was before. The effects that it had made things worse, man. All right, and a lot of people lost, their ability to make ends meet and still haven't recovered. And then now with everything that's going on, people are in a lot worse condition than they were in during C-19, during the lockdowns. Okay, now even more people are struggling because, the economy is falling apart. So now even more people are out of work. Okay. All right. Losing jobs. All right. You got mass deportations and stuff like that. That's affecting farmers. You got different weather catastrophes that are taking place all over the world. Lack of rain, too much rain. wildfires and heat waves and things of that nature, destroying farmland. So it's getting bad, man. All right. And again, all of this is all according to the word of the Lord. So all, people can, and this is happening in our lifetime. The point is, it's happening in our lifetime. It's happening as we speak. This stuff is making headlines consistently throughout the years, over the years. So people can no longer say that, it's going to be a long time from now or that'll never happen. No, it's happening now. Okay. All right, Ezekiel chapter 12, verse 21, it says, and the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, what is that proverb that ye have in the land of Israel, saying, the days are prolonged and every vision faileth? Tell them, therefore, thus saith the Lord God, I will make this proverb to cease, and they shall no more use it as a proverb in Israel, but say unto them that the days are at hand and the effect of every vision. Okay, so there you go. So, hey, the days are at hand. The people, all this talk about, oh, that's not going to happen, and people scoffing and, having something contrary to say, it's coming to an end because is starting to feel the heat, man. Okay. It says, for there shall be no more any vain vision or flattering divination within the house of Israel. For I am the Lord, I will speak, and the word that I shall speak shall come to pass. It shall be no more prolonged, for in your days, O rebellious house, will I say the word and will perform it, saith the Lord. Again, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, behold, they of the house of Israel say the vision that he seeth is for many days to come, and he prophesieth of times that are far off. Okay. Therefore say unto them, thus saith the Lord God, there shall none of my words be prolonged any more, but the word which I have spoken shall be done, saith the Lord. All right. So the words are no longer being prolonged. All this, talk against the scriptures, man. Everybody's is being hit with the reality, man. And even harsher realities are going to be faced, man. It's going to get to a point where, people are going to be so hungry and malnourished that they're going to eat each other, eat their own children. All right. That's prophesied in the scriptures, man. All this talk of war and rumors of war, eventually blood will be shed. Okay. On both sides. All right. Of the spectrum, whether it's talking about international disputes, and rumors of wars, eventually bullets and shots will be fired. All right. And lives will be taken. Okay. All right. Which is that's simmering right now as we speak. Okay. All right. And then talking about nationally within the borders of these different countries and nations. All right. All this talk of civil war that we hear about, especially here in America. All right. Egyptian versus Egyptian. Eventually, it's going to really get bloody and violent, man. OK. All right. Eventually, there will be no food at the grocery stores, man. Eventually, there will be absolutely no work. All right. And chaos will just ensue and flourish, So everybody's going to have to face the music, man. All right. This is Proverbs chapter 1, verse 20. It says, wisdom crieth without. She uttereth her voice in the streets. She crieth in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gates in the city. She uttereth her words, saying, how long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? And their scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you. Because I have called and ye have refused. I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded. But ye have said that not all my counsel, and with none of my reproof. I will also laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. Okay, so you have our people that see us out there on the highways and byways, and they hella scoffing. These little TikTok, compilations of people coming up against the Hebrew Israelites, and all that. Hey, y'all gonna suffer the most, man. Okay, for scorning against the truth, for scorning against the Lord, you're gonna have to become a casualty of prophecy. Okay. All right, you got a lot of individuals that's in the so-called Hebrew Israelite community that have spoken against the mark of the beast, that have spoken against Jacob's trouble and these things, man. But all we see is talks of implantable devices. All we hear about is digital bio tracking and ID. That's all we hearing, man. Digital IDs, bio tracking, biotech tracking devices. That's all we're hearing about in the news, man. Okay, eventually it'll be a reality that you're gonna have to face. Okay. All right. We're hearing about deportations of the northern tribe. And Esau starting to get riled up against the southern kingdom. Okay, so eventually, everyone will be affected by what the scriptures say. Okay. All right. As far as the different calamities, everybody's going to have to face the reality of what the Bible speaks of, man. Okay. And all that scoffing and scorning is going to be put to silence. Okay. And we're already seeing it move towards that trend. Okay. We're already seeing it happen. All right. Scoffers have gotten very, very, very quiet as of late. Okay. Because things are getting serious, man. All right. Proverbs chapter 1. All right. And going back to verse 27, it says, when your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me, for that they hated knowledge and did not choose to fear the Lord. They were none of my counsel, and they despised all my reproof. Therefore they shall eat the fruit of their own ways, and be filled with their own devices. For the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. Okay, so for not choosing to fear the Lord, for not hearkening unto the word, you will be destroyed, man. Okay, and in that day, when the calamity comes upon you, ain't gonna be so much mocking and scoffing and scorning. Okay, and you individuals that took your hand off the plow and went back into the world and was sneak dissing on the comment boards and shit, hey, you're gonna have to deal with it, man. All right, I can only imagine what's going on in y'all minds, man. You individuals that went back into the world, took your hand off the plow and looked back, man. Man, the amount of things that have taken place over the past 5 to 7 years, hey, man, must have you motherfuckers bugged out, man. I can guarantee you all they thinking about is, hey, man, I was once amongst the brothers, teaching this word and bringing it out, and now it's happening. I can only imagine what they have to do to try to distract themselves, or, try to distract their minds, from the reality of what the scriptures say, that's affecting them. All right. And also, I do want to get Jeremiah as well. Okay. By sword and famine shall those prophets be consumed, man. Okay. There's Jeremiah. Chapter 14, verse 13, it says, Then said I, Lord God, behold, the prophets say unto them, Ye shall not see the sword, neither shall ye have famine, but I will give you assured peace in this place. All right, which is what a lot of these pseudo-Israelite camps have done. Okay, ain't gonna be no Jacob's trouble, ain't gonna be no time of trouble, and boom, here we are in a time of trouble. Okay, we're worried about building schools and communities, and church-like buildings, and establishing some shit here in Babylon is crazy. And that sentiment comes from what? Not acknowledging that the Lord has calamity and destruction set for this place, man. Okay, the Lord doesn't have this place set to prosper in any way, and it definitely for sure doesn't have it's set for us to prosper, on a significant level here in Babylon. Granted, on an individual level, the Lord may bless brothers in certain ways and believers in certain ways, man. But it's not meant here for us to be complacent and be looking to establish some type of community and structure here, man. Scriptures say, arise and depart, for it is not your rest, and it shall destroy you, even with a sword destruction, man. Okay. All right. But that sentiment of, wanting to establish and wanting to make a name for yourself, these different groups like IUIC, ISUPK, Sakari, trying to be internet famous and shit. That comes from the lack of understanding the gravity of what the Lord's getting ready to do. Okay, what he is doing, but also what he's going to do as well. All right, really in your mind, you have put off the day of the Lord. All right, so now you're going to get caught up in the destruction for being simple, man. Okay. It says, and then the Lord said unto me, that the prophets prophesy lies in my name. I sent them not, neither have I commanded them, neither spake I unto them. They prophesy unto you a false vision and divination, and the thing of naught and the deceit of their heart. Therefore thus saith the Lord concerning the prophets that prophesy in my name, and I sent them not, yet they say, sword and famine shall not be in this land. By sword and famine shall those prophets be consumed. Okay. All right. So you're going to get caught up in the destruction that you were denying was going to happen, man. And that's why it's always been a priority of the, of the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and the brothers on down to keep the main thing, man. Focus on the prophecies, focus on keeping the breakdowns as pure, not switching things up, focus on the inner working of building up the brothers that you are in the midst of in your particular camp. All right. And just being on point, getting on point and staying on point, because thing is about to really hit the fan, man. Shit is really about to hit the fan, man. Okay. But you other groups out there, your leaders especially, all right, have been trying to make this about gimmicks and clout, and trying to be internet famous and try to be deep and, reinvent the wheel, and that's what's going to get them destroyed, and along with their congregations as well. And the people to whom they prophesy shall be cast out into the streets of Jerusalem because of the famine and the sword, and they shall have none to bury them, their wives, nor their sons, nor their daughters, for I will pour their wickedness upon them. Okay, so y'all gonna have to deal, with the destruction. Y'all gonna have to eat it, man. Okay, all right. The Lord said His words don't go out void, man. All right, the Lord ain't nothing to play with. All right. All right, you either going to give heed to the prophecies and change your way of life and be saved, or you will be a casualty of prophecy. Okay, one way or the other. All right. I do want to bring out prophet was among them. Wait, low. Let me see if it will come. All right. This is Ezekiel 33 and verse 30. It says, also, thou son of man, the children of thy people still are talking against thee by the walls and in the doors of their houses. So they're speaking against the word. Okay. And, it used to be a time where a lot of people didn't really know about this truth, right? They didn't really know the knowledge of, our true heritage and nationality. Okay. They didn't, and that's only really one level of things, because it's more than that. All right. So it's really whether or not you have faith in Yahweh through His Son, Yahweh Shai. All right. But it was a time where none of these things were really so much out there. But now with social media, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, even being, mentioned by different celebrities, certain media coverage, everybody knows about this, man. So don't for a second think that Jake is not aware of the truth, man. All right. Some kind of way, some kind of how they've heard about this truth. Okay. All right. And many of them have spoken against the Lord. All right. It says, and speak one to another, everyone to his brother, saying, come, I pray you, and hear what is the word that cometh from the Lord. Okay. So you'll have Jake come up to the camp, or they'll come past a video and, let's see what the Lord has to say. But they're really saying it in a scoffing manner. Okay. A lot of these questions on the comment board be loading questions, a lot of these responses and changes up in the doctrine really just be them trying to bait us into an argument with them. Okay, because they know that we're for the defense of the gospel, just so they could be even more contrarian than they've already been. Okay. And they come unto thee as the people cometh, and they sit before thee as my people, and they hear thy words, but they will not do them. For with their mouth they shew much love, but their heart goeth after their covetousness. All right. So majority of our people already have their minds set against the Lord. Okay. No matter how they may come and how sincere they might try to seem, really deep down, their hearts are against the Lord, and they're going after their own desires. And lo, thou art unto them as a very lovely song of one that hath a pleasant voice and can play well on an instrument, for they hear thy words, but they do them not. When this cometh to pass, and lo, it will come, they shall know that a prophet hath been amongst them. So again, they've heard the word. They've rejected the word, but then the word is going to come and devour their ass. The word is going to come and affect them. All right, they are going to be a casualty of prophecy. So for all that scoffing and rejecting the word of the Lord, they're going to be affected by the word of the Lord. Okay. All right. And they're going to realize, oh, man, what them guys was saying on the street corners was true. OK. All right. Believe brother came out with it and said, hey, is it, I guess somebody was like, is it time to apologize to the Hebrew Israelites? OK. All right, brother's been having people come up and say, oh, y'all was right the whole time. All right, well, it's going to be a lot more of that. Okay. And then for the majority of our people, it's going to be far too late for them to be like, oh, y'all was right. I'm sorry. No, they just going to die to death. That's just reality, man. But the point of this lesson, I brought these precepts out, but the underlying point of this lesson is really just keep doing this work, man. We got prophecy on our side. Hey, can't nobody tell us nothing. We don't owe, overly complicated explanations to anyone. Okay, because at the end of the day, what the Lord has put in these scriptures to be written and for us to read and speak to the people is exactly what's happening. Okay, so we got Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai on our side, man. All right, we speak these words, man, and we see it happening. So to hell with these people, man, and just keep being encouraged to fight, keep being encouraged to preach the word and to live by it. All right, because hey, things are looking good for us and not so good for everyone else. So call on him like Yabashim Yahushai, Bashim Rakakodash, double honors to the elder apostles, a great millstone, and citations to the elect. Shalom.